Did you guys ever, like the two, main groups of Public Enemy, did you guys hold each other's to sort of like an objective standard, being like the Bomb Squad and then, Chuck and Flavor Flav? Were there any times where, say, you guys were doing something production-wise that they disagreed with or they didn't think was up to that standard, or vice versa? They were saying things and you weren't totally 100% on their lyrical content, or did you guys kind of stay out of each other's way?
No, well, no, because that's a very good question. But here's how I can attempt to answer that. The process to me is I'm the hardest critic, not only just of myself, to everybody around me. So I'm holding everybody to a higher level of stuff that they don't even know that they can reach. And so, and once again, I'm comparing everything that I do to what I consider to be classic material. So for example, let's say if I think Prince's record, When Doves Cry, is probably the best record, made, right? Well, I'm going to hold my record up against that record and see how it fares. And if it doesn't meet that record, then to me, we fell short.
How does
and holding everybody accountable to that higher level of understanding raises the bar for everyone.
How do you hold yourself up to a standard of a record like that when you're making, you're making a heavy hip hop record, which I don't know if I'd really describe that, Prince's album like that. How do you hold those two types of music up to the same standard, even though they're, technically totally different? What are you listening for to do that?
Well, that's another great question. What you want to listen to is the feeling that you get. So it's not necessarily, you can't look at, music is not a mechanical process, even though that mechanics play a part in the process. It's the feeling that you get is what resonates to other human beings. So if my record, it doesn't matter what that record is. I can make a hip hop record and I can compare it to a Megadeth record. Because what am I comparing? I'm comparing the vibration of what Megadeth record gives me, and I'm comparing the same vibration of what I'm getting from this hip hop record. And if I don't get the same energy level, then I could sit there and say it fell short. Because the one thing that the public can always determine, they can determine energy. They can't determine the mechanics. They don't know whether the bass is too big or too loud, or the rhythm is not quite correct, or the rapper's not quite in time, or the vocals are not quite in key. They can't determine any of those things, per se. Mm-hmm. But what they can determine is how the whole thing works together and the energy of that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And does that energy make sense? And once it makes sense, you know that you're in the ballpark.